Hey, what's going on, guys? Today I want to talk about why the gymnastic rings are one of the best tools to develop strength, especially if you're a beginner or overweight. Now, when people think about gymnastic rings, they most likely often think of gymnasts and really advanced exercises that we often see in the Olympics, for example, right? So things like the iron cross or any of those fancy flips and holds that we see on TV. But the rings are actually really versatile and really flexible, and it allows you to perform assisted versions of all of the body weight exercises that you can think of. And it allows you to progress over time to be able to do the more advanced versions of those exercises. So, for example, if you are an absolute beginner in exercises or if you're overweight, you may not be able to do basic body weight exercises like push-ups and pull-ups, or even body weight squats may be difficult for you depending on how overweight you are. But because the rings are adjustable both in width, so the spacing in between the rings, as well as the height, it allows you to modify your body position and angles to make exercises easier or more difficult depending on your fitness level. So for example, you can see here in this video I'm doing different versions of assisted bodyweight exercises. You can adjust the height of the rings to keep your feet on the ground, and as you're doing pushing movement, for example like push-ups or dips, you can assist your upper body by keeping your feet on the ground and supporting partially your body weight with your feet and legs. And over time, as you develop strength on your upper body, you can rely less and less on your lower body, rely less and less on your legs, and eventually you'll be able to support your full body weight just with your upper body. The same thing applies to pulling exercises as well. So pull-ups and inverted rows, right? You can adjust the position of your feet to adjust the angle of your body. The more vertical your body is, typically the easier the exercise becomes for rows, for example, or push-ups. And then the more horizontal your body is, the more difficult it becomes. So again, just play around with the position of your body and find the position that allows you to challenge your body and build strength over time, but not too difficult so that it sort of discourages you from continuing to play around with the exercises. Now, one of the benefits of the gymnastic rings that advanced and more fit people don't tend to gain, but is particularly applicable to those who are beginners or overweight, is the fact that you can actually use the rings to help develop your lower body strength. If you're more advanced, you're probably going to be using the rings mostly for upper body exercises, but as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, for people who are overweight, even doing bodyweight squats or bodyweight lunges may be really difficult and challenging. But because you can adjust the position of the rings, you can hold your body, you can hold on to the rings with your hands and assist the bodyweight squat by helping your body up by pulling onto the rings, like what you see here in the video. Over time, you can rely less and less on your upper body strength until you're able to perform a full bodyweight squat on your own. At the same time, you can also use the rings to help develop more advanced bodyweight exercises, like for example the pistol squat or the single leg squat. If you're not able to do those yet on their own, you can again hang partially on the rings and perform the exercises slowly and progressively build strength so that you rely less and less on your upper body strength until you're able to do the full single leg exercise, for example, on their own. Coincidentally, this is also one of the things that I like to do on my active recovery day. So if you've been following me for a while, you know that I exercise every single day. I don't have a so-called off day, but I work out 3 days a week relatively vigorously, and then the other days I like to stay active, and this is one of the things that I like to do. Sometimes when I'm feeling really beat, I try to refrain myself from doing kettlebell complexes, even if they're relatively light. Sometimes it's nice to just kind of stretch and relax and feel the overall kind of movement of my body with the gymnastic rings, feeling the muscles stretch, expand, and contract, and feeling the joints kind of being mobile, loosening up. There's also kind of a meditative quality to it, which is often overlooked when it comes down to exercises. Actually, your mental and emotional strength and fortitude are just as, if not more important than your physical strength, because they're often prerequisites for you to be able to do anything, really, including exercise. Like if you're feeling down and depressed, it's really hard to get yourself moving and working out. So as long as you get that checked out, you're able to be consistent with things a lot more easily. So I really enjoy taking my time and just relaxing, enjoying being outdoors with the gymnastic rings. It's a really nice way to recover, but at the same time staying active without really having to elevate my heartbeat too much, but still exerting some force on my body. The last thing I want to mention is that if you're familiar with suspension training systems like the TRX, for example, there are some similarities when it comes down to the methodology of training with how I describe the gymnastic rings, but there are a couple of really critical differences that I think just make the gymnastic rings a much better option for most of you, at least for me. The first one is the cost. I don't know why the TRX suspension systems are really expensive. I'm not sure why. I can't get my head around why they're so expensive. Whereas you can get gymnastic rings for, it's like almost dirt cheap, less than $50 in many instances. They're really cheap, they're really versatile, because it's just two straps with two wooden rings, so they're really cheap. But the second one, which is probably more relevant when it comes down to exercise, if you've played around with TRX systems, maybe an older version, I don't know what they look like now, but the last time I used the TRX system, the thing that I didn't like the most is the fact that they stem from one point. So TRX systems have two straps, but they come from a single point that you attach on like a pull-up bar or on your door or something like that. The problem with this is when you're doing pushing exercises or any exercise that requires your body to be in between the two straps, you often end up with a lot of skin chafing and burns, because your shoulders and forearms will just keep rubbing against the straps as you perform different exercises. So the TRX or any other suspension systems are really only good for exercises that don't require your body to be in between the two straps. But the gymnastic rings, because the two rings are separate entities, you can adjust, you can have them at different heights, but you can also have them space out as widely as you want them to be or as narrow as you want them to be. So depending on how big you are or how small you are, you can just adjust the rings, space them out more or space them out less, and it'll really fit the shape and the size of your body. So it's a lot more comfortable to use them, and it really helps to minimize and reduce the risk of skin shaving and burns, which is, this is my personal experience. I've used both, and I didn't really enjoy the TRX as much as I did the gymnastic rings. So I think that's it for the video today. Hopefully it gives you some idea of what you can do, especially if you're a beginner and overweight. Don't be intimidated by gymnastic rings. It's actually really helpful, I found, for a lot of people who are just getting into working out. You should give them a try, and they're also really cheap, so it's not really an investment that you need to worry about. If you find that you don't like them, at least you give them a shot. It's cheaper than most 1-month gym memberships, actually, right? The only thing is you just need to find a place to hang the rings, whether it's in your house, in your garage, or at a park nearby. But it's usually you'll be able to find a place to hang them. So I think that's it for the video today. Thanks for watching, as always, and see you next time.